8, and I was like on number 8. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
Sam, when teachers do that at faculty meetings back in the old days, when somebody raises their hand, you're like basically jumped when you walk out. Yeah, that's right. You're basically
And you don't want to be jumped tonight.
It's like you always have that one person in the meetings that are like always asking
it's like
questions.
for work meetings too. You're texting each other going, shut up. Shut up.
I want to go home.
Don't ask any
I have a
more
cheesecake in the fridge waiting for me.
Because usually for faculty meetings, it's like 2.5 hours of PowerPoint that nobody needs.
Oh.
And so teachers are tired. You send them after school, and then you use this PowerPoint that's like misery.
In other words, don't do it.
All right.
A lot of things.
I think you
don't
should
do it.
so do it.
Not tonight.
I'm ready to go.
Just because everyone's like, no.
All right, so, I mean, technically, we have a quorum. We actually have a quorum plus 1, so when Justin shows up, we'll just get moving, and then when Justin shows up, we can continue.
I want to introduce you to the people that I did not communicate with appropriately last time.
Oh.
So remember, we taped on our phone.
Oh, okay. This one has the more battery. Yeah, go ahead.
Erin, amazing senior. She does all the things. She's helping us tonight. You've seen her before.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Erin.
Amazing. Talk about accolades. The list is like one after another. Erin's amazing. But the thing I love most about her is how brave she is, and she's willing to take risks.
Nice.
So the play, cheerleader, everything.
Nice.
And then Mr. Turner is a dad to one of our seniors. He's been an HCA dad since I've been here, since Abigail was in kindergarten, right?
Yes.
And
Wow.
his senior also is filled with accolades, actually besties with Erin. And he stepped in to take over the elementary news show and the high school news show.
Cool.
Very cool.
Upon Mr. Chambers leaving and helping us with this too.
Mr. Turner?
Yeah, Mr. Turner. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good to meet you, sir.
Abby is in theater.
Gotcha.
She's playing Morticia
Nice.
in the,
Adam Family. That'll be awesome.
and then I don't know if
So far.
Yep. Dr. Taylor, media team, are we ready to go? All right.
We're good.
Turn us on and give us the live. Let us know we're actually streaming.
We're good.
Awesome. All right. I call this meeting of the Horse Creek Academy Board of Directors to order at 6:05 p.m. this evening. Let's see, where's my agenda? Where's my order of service? All right, Dr. Taylor, if you would please lead us in the invocation.
I would be happy to. If you guys would bow your heads with me, if you want to pray, that's what I'm going to be doing. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this time together. Thank you for this opportunity to make decisions on behalf of the students and families we serve, and help us be your hands and feet as we walk through this agenda. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, if you would stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Pitts, once you get situated, you would read us our mission statement.
Our mission is to create an innovative and challenging learning environment that teaches the whole learner through the pillars of connection, flexibility, and service.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Pitts. Dr. Taylor,
Yes.
HCA Celebrations, what you got for us this month?
So I wanted to take just a couple minutes to talk about a couple visits that I think are important for you guys to know as a staff. We had several schools visit us this past February from CLI schools across the state that have been in our cohort at different times. And they came to kind of learn from us. And the beautiful thing is all of our different subgroups kind of led in different ways for them. But they created some takeaways for us. Sarah, would you mind going up to the posters and kind of talking about it real quick? So as part of their debriefing, these are schools from all around South Carolina, they asked 3 questions. What inspired you? What was a strategy you want to take away with you to your school? And then lastly, at the very bottom is what do you want to celebrate? So I thought I would bring their actual posters they created to kind of share with you what they said about Horse Creek. So Sarah, do you want to kind of read a couple of maybe the things that were inspiring to them?
Yep, absolutely. Some of the inspirations were the positive energy and the vibes and the happy environment here at Horse Creek, as well as the problem solution mentality that we have, and our clear as kind systems that help set expectations. In terms of practices and things they took home that they want to try, they really want to try building student leadership and having transparency in their norms. They are also really inspired by See a Need, Fill a Need. And some of their things they wanted to celebrate that they love for us were our community involvement, yay. The staff faculty, I love how they came in that
Faculty, yeah.
staff and faculty, gifts and incentives and talents that we lean into were some of the celebrations.
Right, so y'all, I was so impressed by the takeaways and what they thought about our team, especially with the CLI work. One of the things I wanted to showcase is you have something at your table that highlights where we were from a CLI team when we started the cohort. And you can see from the red, those are areas that were less than the cohort, meaning we struggled more than the cohort we were in to provide success in those areas. And this last time around, you see where we are compared to the cohort, and I just think it's a testimony to our staff and our team and what they've done to CLI. So I wanted to make sure you saw that. The other thing on there, on your table that I shared, and I shared it a little bit with Jared, I believe you guys actually sent it out last month, is we worked on an HCA mindset, like a norms or strategies for our staff. And so I wanted to show you what we were working on and how that will eventually translate into our evaluations as a team. So not only do we evaluate teachers on their 4.0 rubrics that's mandated by the state, but we're really looking to move towards an evaluation that matches with the mindset. So I thought it'd be fun for you guys to see that. The other thing I wanted to tell you is we have some updates. You saw in the news that Dr. S. from here is going to HCA Camden or HCA Kershaw at the Camden location. And so she's been officially hired to start there in the fall, which we're super proud about and super excited about. And the money is being deposited now to take care of some of our past bills. So Sturkey next month will probably give you an update about how the board here has been paid fully back for everything that you guys invested to start that campus. So there's we're going to give you that news when we have it, but we'll see probably a $15,000 to $20,000 deposit next month from the other campus as promised. So I wanted to make sure you knew that. So those are my updates.
Very cool. So don't go sit down because your report is next.
Oh, yes. Perfect. Okay. So last time you guys talked about some of the field maintenance issues or maybe next steps for field maintenance. So we asked 4 different people to provide us maintenance quotes from now until June, specifically on the fields. None of these maintenance quotes, with the exception of one, are over my amount that I need to bring to you. So most of this probably will be an internal decision, but I wanted you to know that we got quotes from 3 different organizations and there's a price. So basically, I'm going to pass these around to update you on what we found. And then with your permission, since it's well within my scope as far as spending, we'll go ahead and decide as a team which one we want to go with and make sure our fields are appropriately mowed and fertilized and maintained for the rest of this school year. So if you guys want to take a look, I'll pass those around.
I was going to say, just for clarity, I don't think unless you were to, for some reason, choose the quote that is over the limit,
Right.
You do not need our permission to proceed based on.
I don't. Most of these quotes are well under the $7,500, with the exception of one.
Yep.
And so I'm going to reach back out to the one just to make sure, and then probably take one of the other bids. But you guys are welcome to look at that just as a point of clarity.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
And so that actually doesn't need to be voted on.
Correct.
That's just information. But does anyone have any questions
Yeah,
or
let's
thoughts?
take a pause and just
Sure.
let that circulate around just a little bit since we
Sure.
have some time. We'll make sure. Unfortunately, Ms. Decker, I know, brought up a lot of questions about it last time and she's unable to be with us. But I think our board members here can probably ask some similar questions if need be.
Of course.
Based on what's there.
I know, have you seen it yet, but is it just one-time fee? that it is,
It's
or is it monthly?
basically talking about services from March till June, and several applications, some several times a week, some depending on what the field needs. And it includes all the fertilizer as well as all the maintenance work on the fields, as well as additional cutting that's separate from our normal.
These as well.
Because we do post it.
We do.
The quotes that she's
So they
presenting.
just cut, but not anything else as far as anything.
Yes, ma'am.
hold for the awkward pause as people read documents.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're fine. So we got the time. Those are the three. It's the summaries of three quotes on one sheet. Pass them around to Dana while she's taking other notes.
This is just the overview in different places.
And that page is the summary of the three
Yeah.
different quotes. Ms. Cook, just,
So from the look of it, it looks like this is just fertilization.
Fertilization and weed management as well as
So
cutting.
it is cutting? Because I didn't see that in there, and there's,
Just putting on
So-
the last one.
was there?
This Cold Creek, it talks about 2 mows per week.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Cold Creek is a little bit less
missed that.
specific about the maintenance on the field, meaning they talk about general weed and fertilizer maintenance, but not necessarily field specific. So that's something to be noted.
And what about, how often were the other proposals for, I didn't see how often they were gonna mow, but I mean, that's a weekly.
Yeah. Weekly or 2 times a week is what they were saying to us in all of the quotes. Sometimes it might be twice.
Well, this should get us through till the summer, but what's the plan for next year?
And the plan for next year is we have to engage with someone for the full year if we wanted to do stuff throughout.
And we'll be able to use somebody that does everything, or are we still gonna have it separate? Because like Cold Creek obviously is mowing, and you're gonna have somebody separate for maintenance, or
I would
do
say
you know
the
if somebody
school
can do
year
all of
works,
it?
Jamie.
Let me say it this way, that Cold Creek can definitely do all of it, but Cold Creek, remember, is more of a business or a residential. They're not necessarily field specific in the way that Wyndham or the other company is specific. So what I would say is I would like to be able to bring this to our leadership team and the athletic team to look at all of the bids. And if we feel comfortable with one of the bids that are well within our price range, we would move on that.
If, maybe we can get an update at June
Yeah.
as to whether the administration is happy with the provider.
Sounds like a
So
great
we'll
idea.
know if we want to contract with them for the full year.
Right.
There's only 3.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Well, and right, if this pricing is just essentially for the end of this school year, then any one of their full year pricing will probably exceed the budgetary limit, and we'll have to vote on it for next year anyway.
Probably have to vote on it, and depending on the cost, we may have to do an RFP as well,
Gotcha.
because of the, you know,
Yeah.
the large cost.
Oh, thank you, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm so far.
So they're all under budget.
No, Cold Creek is not. Cold Creek is over.
What was Cold Creek's?
It's 8,000 something.
Oh, okay.
So this is the kind that, buildings. That's what I was thinking, that name sounded familiar to me, so, okay.
All right, any other questions on any of this before we move on?
You guys feel okay? I would be happy to update you once the team meets, and I'm also happy to update you when the service ends to see what we want to
Yeah.
do for
I think
next
that's a good
steps.
plan. If you could email us after the team meets, email the officers, and we can send it out to the board just for awareness of what happened.
Sure.
And then we'll kind of, at the end of the year, middle of the summer, get a more formal, I hate to say formal, but right, take some time during this meeting during the summer and, hey, what was the experience? What do we think?
Right. And the other thing would need to do is if we do want to do a full year experience, once it gets closer, I'll have to adjust the budget as such. So
Makes
I may
sense.
go into this budget season and go ahead and put
Makes
what
sense.
estimated cost is for those fields. That way, when you guys look at it, we can talk about that too.
Makes sense to me. All right, thank you for that one, Dr. Taylor. I
You're welcome.
think next we have some more local board-approved courses.
Sure. So we have 3 additional courses that we'd like you to look at, and I've asked Travis Phillips to talk to us a little bit about that. He is our expert on site in addition to Summer for CTE. So he's going to talk a little bit about, in general, what this course looks like so you guys can make an informed vote.
So work-based learning is just what it sounds like. Kid has a job, and this would enable them to get a high school credit for going to work within some certain parameters that we set up. So I think it's one of the best opportunities you could possibly have is learning from experience. So I think this work-based learning is probably some of the best opportunities a kid can have in high school. And it supports our CTE programs. We have 4 completer programs, which, and we're gonna have 5 next year. A completer program is basically a program of study that a kid concentrates in, and they take anywhere from 3 to 4 classes in a specific subject, and it's like getting a specialized diploma in high school. So we're gonna have 5 of those programs next year. We already have 4 of them, and a lot of programs use this work-based learning as kind of the capstone where they say, for example, in ag or marketing, we try to find them a job placement in that area where they can leave school early or come to school late and actually work in that industry. And that's where this work-based learning comes in. So the work-based learning itself is structured like this. You have to have 120 hours. So a kid's got to commit to going to work for 120 hours during a semester. You also have to do weekly reflections. You have to do quarterly evaluations with your supervisor. And then at the end, you have to do a little bit longer self-reflection. So it's a really valuable experience. It's a great opportunity for kids to connect with folks and the community and the industry they hope to get into.
And as a side note, not that this is why we do it, but it actually helps our report card significantly in high school with the amount of completers we have. So we have to look at those kinds of things too, to make sure that our high school report card looks better and better every year. And so the addition of the completer courses is not only Travis is doing, but Cassandra and everyone else working on the middle school and high school team, making sure that we have completer courses. So this is just an added bonus to that.
So we already have the work-based learning one.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
We do.
Yeah.
And this is just to add additional.
Yes, so
Additional
when
semesters.
we changed from to block scheduling, it created some opportunities. Let's say, for example, a student has a job and they're going to have it for the full year. So by adding this work-based learning 2, if they've got it semester 1 and semester 2, now as long as they get 120 hours semester 1 and 120 hours semester 2, we can continue to allow them to get that work-based learning credit. Whereas if we just have work-based learning 1, they're only going to get credit for that first semester.
So I think that this is wonderful. I went to a school where I actually had this type of learning. I went to a vocational high school in New Jersey, and so having the work experience during my school hours to be able to go right into a workforce for business or cosmetology, whatever it was, I think that this is wonderful. I think in your proposal you mentioned that there was some businesses or local businesses that you guys were going to be working with. So does this mean that the student already has a job and they're going to get credit for that, or are you actually going to businesses to see if our students can come for training?
Both.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say both. I'm gonna give you an example. A couple years ago with our first graduating class, we had a little internship program with one of the heating and air companies. And they came on campus, did interviews, chose someone, and then he worked there on site. So sometimes it's us asking for businesses to come in. Sometimes it's family-owned businesses that they already have experience in. Sometimes the student got the job on their own. So it kind of varies. But I would love for us to get to a place, and I think we're getting there, where if our kids aren't going to go on to school, that we really work at some of those job placement experiences. And I think we're getting there.
Yeah, it really is a really good opportunity to encompass all students, no matter where they are.
That's exactly.
Not everyone is college bound, right? And so to be able to go right into the workforce
Right.
and be able to have that experience already on your resume is just excellent. It really helped me to be where I am today. So I think that this is wonderful, and I'm very happy.
I really like the flexibility of all of those options too, that already have an existing job or we find placement for it. It doesn't exclude any circumstance in there.
And even our students with pretty significant disabilities, just so you know, go out now and have work-based learning opportunities using our little bus weekly on field trips and do work-based learning. So while they're not getting the exact same credit, we're even able to use work-based learning for them so that when they graduate, they have some real items on their resume to be able to share.
Is there any parameters as far as certain fields that are yes or no, or is there going to be?
Well, we can be pretty creative to tie things with our completed programs that we have. Obviously, one thing I'm really excited about is next year we're going to have a hospitality and tourism program.
Nice.
It's going to be amazing. So that's going to really open up a lot of doors. So, but yeah, we can be creative in how we connect the jobs and the students.
And this is still new, but in addition to hospitality and tourism, am I allowed to say this out loud? Yeah, we're investigating.
We're going to the board, I guess, next month.
Yes.
For the cosmetology licensure.
So we asked to expand our nail tech to full cosmetology, and so we're going to the board next month, the state boards, to try to get that approved as well. So we're really trying to expand and have more and more programs for kids for work-based.
Very cool. Awesome.
Questions?
Any other questions for Travis? Thank you,
Thank
Travis.
you.
Thank you. All right, I will start the vote-a-rama on the local approved classes. I make a motion that we approve work-based learning number 2 as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dana got the second with the vocal. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimously approved. I make a motion that we approve work-based learning 3 as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Matt Shackleton. Got it. Hearing no discussion, all in favor, please raise your hand. And finally, I make a motion that we approve work-based learning 4 as presented.
Yes.
Give it to Mr. Gordon this time. Assuming no discussion, all in favor, please raise your hand. Also unanimously approved. Thank you all, and thank you, administration. I really do appreciate the way you present these to us every time. Really good content, really good format, and really, I think, help us as a board understand what the ultimate goal for these locally approved courses is and what the enrichment content is and how they benefit our village. So thank you for that. I have nothing in my report, and we have nothing in the Vice Chair's report. Madam Secretary, if you'd like to do your customary item.
I make a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes.
A second.
Ms. Cook seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes. Ms. Cook, what you got for us on the treasurer's report?
So, I'll just share a message from Ms. Sturkey here. Give me a second. We're doing good as we have been doing in the past. Days cash on hand, we're at 55 right now. She did mention that there's more than likely going to be a little bit of spending coming. She's, not been doing some larger purchases because we knew that we were going to be getting some of these grants, which they're going to start doing some purchases. So we'll see a bit of a dip, but we expected that. So we're doing good. Things off.
And just to give you perspective on 55 days, 45 is a mandatory with our bonds. 55 gives us another $450,000 extra. So we're talking about several $1 million when we're talking about those days cash on hand. So that's quite a big deal. And I will tell you, credit does not go to me. I am constantly trying to purchase and upgrade and and Ashley is so good about telling me no, and I wait until she says yes, and then I do your proof purchases when she timely tells me. So I just want to give her the credit there because that is definitely not your director.
What about our debt bond ratio?
Yeah,
What is
the
that?
debt bond ratio on that first sheet, mandatory debt bond ratio is 1.1, that's the target. The ratio for us in January is 1.72. And even when we're accounting for lots of things, it's 1.45. So we are way ahead of where we should be on the
Fantastic.
ratio.
That's awesome. I missed that sheet as I was scrolling, so thanks
Yeah,
for pointing that one
our
out.
finances look the best they've looked since I've been here.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Good news.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. Thanks to Ms. Turkey, who's not here, hopefully viewing us online.
Yes,
Do we have any voting items over 7,500 or anything to bring
we
up
do
in
not.
that? Well, all right. In that case, we have an executive session scheduled. So I make a motion that we suspend public session and move into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pitts. All in favor? All right, we are now in executive session. We will convene in Dr. Green's office.
Yes, it's set up for you.
Thank you.